It's always such a pleasure to be here. I feel so good about the fact that we're together and just want to hug you all forever. So anyway, yeah. Okay, welcome. Today our speaker is Ken Fendrick. And,
hello, everybody.
There you are. All right, okay. And, our spiritual coordinator, Susan Daiho, and our musician, Billy Lawley, and our technician, Maria Gomez. All right. So, welcome. Now Billy is going to do a sing-along with us, Give Peace a Chance.
Okay, so yeah, we'll need the words, so we'll just, yeah. So you got it.
Oh, I'm supposed to face here.
Use the arrow keys, I guess.
Oh, it's not.
It does.
Is it on?
Well,
yes. Hold on.
No, you need to help turn it on, Kathy.
No, it's on. It's.
Oh, there we go.
It was just not connecting. Okay.
Well, it's red, so.
Red's not a happy.
No.
Can
It's not clicking.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, we got it. Okay.
Good
Morning, everybody. So what's going to happen on this one? What's going to happen on this song? Hello? Okay, good. Not too loud. I need you all's help. So what's going to happen, I bet you a bunch of you all know this song. What you're going to do is you're going to do a stomp and a clap all the way through, okay? If you're on Zoom or on YouTube, you can join us and sing along too. So keep that going. The whole time.
Oh, dear.
You do it.
Got it.
Everybody's talking about faggots and faggots and faggots and faggots and faggots and faggots and this and faggots and this and this. Stop, clap, stop, clap, stop, clap. Oh, we are saved. Is this new peace a chance?
Okay, so we are going to greet each other, and we have to keep it kind of short, so we'll get everything in. And you have a choice between a handshake, a hug, or a namaste. If both of you, a hug, if you're both okay with it.
Yes. That's unusual too. Oh, so she lives out here.
And they have a lot
I'm from Texas. It's somewhere we are. Yeah. This is your fiance's mother?
But he has the last name. Oh, she already closed down shop?
Oh.
Okay, that was fun. Okay, now we're moving on to our announcements. Course in Miracles, Monday at 11:30 to 1, and Wednesday, 7 to 8:30. Every other Saturday morning meditation with Israel. Tuesday evening meditation, 7 to 8. And August 21st, we are going to have our 90th annual picnic at Oak Grove. Can you believe that? Unity of Stockton has been around 90 years. Okay, it's at the Regional Park from 11 to 4, and sign up at the front desk and to bring a gift. And that'll be really fun, okay? All right. Okay. Our ministerial search continues. Spirit guides us. All is well. Thank you for your input. Thank you to the Ministerial Search Committee. Okay, join us for prayer with prayer chaplain this week is John. And let's see, where's John? John is right there. Okay. All right. And daily word. Okay.
Just a moment.
Here's my oneness with. Okay.
Not until after the screen. I understand I've got the screen. This is not yet.
Oh, I didn't introduce him. I'm sorry. Okay, very sorry. I started and I missed out. I wrote his name, but I didn't do his bio. Okay. Reverend Ken Fendrick. Reverend Ken is a dynamic, engaging speaker who delivers his message with the joy of spirit. He is a 2021 graduate of Unity Urban Ministerial School and a 2021 Unity Worldwide Ministerial Ordinand. His newly founded and UWM-approved alternative ministry, Unity of the Trails, is a model of outreach, engagement, connection, and inspiration for the 21st century world. He has delivered his talks in many Unity churches in the greater San Diego area in which he resides. Ken brings a passion, energy, and a unique perspective to the spiritual concepts in which he speaks and teaches. When not serving actively in ministry, Ken enjoys the company of his cherished family and friends and spends time outdoors and singing. Okay, so now I will do our daily word. Monday, August 2nd. Gee, I'm doing well today.
You are.
Thank you. Thank you, I love you all. Okay, protected. Through my oneness with God, I feel protected. Sometimes I may feel at the mercy of a changing, tumultuous world I cannot control. This is never true. Even though the chaos of the world may swirl around me, at the center of my being is a place of perfect peace and calm. Whenever I am in need of a safe refuge, I turn to God within to reach this place of tranquility and reclaim my feeling of security and protection. The sun always rises after the longest, darkest night. I remind myself of this truth and feel grateful as I allow the light of spiritual understanding to release and reclaim whatever power I may have unwittingly given to a fear-based thought. Fully in tune with the divine presence within me, I move safely and confidently through every challenging circumstance. The one who is in you is greater than the one who is in the world. 1 John 4:4. Okay. Okay, and now, where the ocean says to grow, by Daniel Namad. Really live.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought we were having our talk now. My apologies. Let's go to.
It's not a sing along, you can use.
Oh, that's true. We can just.
Whatever.
Yeah, I got it.
Are we doing a meditation first?
We're going to do a song first, then a meditation,
Okay,
then you.
All right, perfect. All right, perfect.
You got it. So let's remove. How do I remove spotlight? It's not letting me. Same issue as before. That's okay. I'll just show that video. We'll show for the best.
Hey, Jelly.
Alrighty.
Just let this song feed your soul. So much pushing and pulling, so much fighting and straining, so much laboring against waves and wind. I am tired, my arms are weary, back is aching, eyes are bleary, think I'm finally ready to give in. I have struggled, I have cried, I have screamed inside about the kind of life I've tried to lead. Well, right now I think it's time, for the very first time, to lay down my body and mind and just be. If I stop steering my boat, does it sink? Oh no, current carries it along just so. If I stop steering my life, gonna be alright. I'll just go where the ocean says to go. Down the block or to the moon, around the world or to my room. I can't say where I'm supposed to end up. I've resisted for so long, as if I could do no wrong, and it's never been quite good enough. And a funny thing, I guess, prideful humans saying yes without knowing what I'm agreeing to. There's a simple fact I find, the decision's never been mine. All I'll ever do is what I'm meant to do. If I stop steering my boat, does it sink? Oh no, current carries it along just so. If I stop steering my life, gonna be alright. I'll just go where the ocean says to go. It's a scary thing for sure to lay down my oars and pretending that I've ever been in charge. But it's scarier still to spend my strength and will and never even have a peaceful heart. So here goes the toughest thing. Ironic, don't you think? That it's so hard and easy all at once. It's not laziness, it's just the deepest kind of trust that I'm okay when all is said and done. I'm okay when all is said and done. If I stop steering my boat, does it sink? Oh no, current carries it along, just so. If I stop steering my life, gonna be alright. I'll just go where the ocean says to go. If I stop steering my boat, does it sink? Oh no, current carries it along, just so. If I stop steering my life, gonna be alright. I'll just go where the ocean says to go. I'll just go where the ocean says to go. I'll just go where the ocean says to go.
Wow. Thank you, Billy. That was beautiful. Okay, and now we have Reverend Ken Fendrick with Peace Power. Yeah.
Amen. Well, thank you so much for the board of directors and Reverend Sheila, who's a friend and classmate of mine, for bringing me to Unity of Stockton. And I so wish I could be there in person with all of you. Just hearing the banter and the laughter, I could tell you're just a vibrant, loving congregation. But I am grateful to be here with you with this great new thing we have called Zoom, which we've all been navigating. And I would like to open up by sharing a few quotes to kind of get us in this atmosphere of peace, in especially your peace power. So the first one comes from Augustine of Hippo. And it said, "Thou hast made us for thyself, O Lord, and our heart is restless until it finds its rest in thee." The next one is, "If you are depressed and are living in the past, if you are anxious, you are living in the future. If you are at peace, you are living in the present." And that comes from Lao Tzu. And here's one from a former first lady. "It isn't enough to talk about peace. One must believe in it. And it isn't enough to believe in it. One must work at it." And that's from none other than Eleanor Roosevelt. This one is a short but impactful one. It says, "When you make peace with yourself, you make peace with the world." And that comes from Maha Ghosananda. The next one comes from John chapter 14, verse 27. And these are the words of Jesus Christ, our way shower. "Peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not let them be afraid." And lastly, from the Beatitudes found in Matthew chapter 5, verse 9. "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called the children of God." Those are the words again of our way shower, Jesus. So now I'd like to take this atmosphere of peace we've created through these lovely quotes and lead us in a short meditation. So I invite you to get comfortable wherever you're at, whether you're together in the room or whether we're together apart. We just sanctify this space we have, knowing that the Spirit of God through Christ is moving in and through us to connect us in so many ways. I invite you to connect with that breath now, that beautiful breath. Just breathe in, hold it for a second, and breathe out. Breathe in. And just release all the preparations as you exhale of the day, all the stuff, all the conversations. Just let that go away. And as you take in another breath, feel yourself sink deeper into that center, your center, between that heart space and above the stomach. Just let yourself anchor into that space. Master Jesus, when he calmed the tempest, calmed the raging seas, declared, Peace, be still. And the tempest subsided. He later in the Gospels, upon his resurrection, appeared to his disciples and his friends. And the first greeting he gave to them was, peace be with you. So as we anchor into our breath, that rhythm of breathing, breathing in, holding it for a second, and breathing out. We take those words now into our deepest recesses, into present them to our very spirit. As we breathe in, we say, peace, be still. We hold it. And as we exhale, we say, peace be with you. And I invite you to just find your own rhythm of breathing. And as you breathe in, peace, be still. Peace be with you. Peace, be still. Peace be with you. Peace, be still. And peace be with you now in the silence. Peace be with you. Peace be with you. Peace be with you. As we come back, we just keep connected with our breath. Open your eyes if you wish, if you've closed them. Wiggle your fingers, your toes, kind of move your body around. And we come back now into this present moment as willing vessels of the words and discernment the ideas we cover, of the vessels of love and compassion, kindness. We are here now in the present moment with spirit over our shoulder, whispering into our ears that which we need to take away from this talk. Thank you. Thank you, God. Amen and amen. So how many of you are familiar with our peace, with the peace song, the Unity Peace song? We sing it at most churches, right? And it goes, let there be peace on earth and let it begin with. You can shout it out or just say it. But did you know that there's another version of this song? Yep, there's another version. It isn't sang in at least any Unity church I've heard of. And it goes like this. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with you and you and you and you, especially you. Oh yeah. Well, we've seen throughout our lives, it's our human condition. We've made peace conditional and based on outside circumstances. And most of the time, we're not even consciously thinking about this. This is going on in our unconscious. This has caused us so much suffering in life. It's caused anxiety, health issues, depression, and anger, not only in ourselves, but in the whole human condition, in the collective condition. We seem to search for peace at times in controlling others. We search for it through substances, food and drink, social and political causes, We also search for it through materialism and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The only way we think we can truly experience peace at its most deepest level is to rest in peace. And then we're not truly at peace, because that doesn't work as you spend eternity being ran over by a lawnmower and listening to leaf blowers all day. So in light of the condition I highlighted, I invite you now to take a moment and contemplate what peace means to you in just a word or two. Let's just take a moment and just feel what peace means to us. Got your word? Got your couple of words? Hold on to those for a minute. So if I could show you today how you can rediscover, reclaim, and express your peace power, would you be interested? That's good. That's good. Because all I'm really saying here is let's just give peace a chance. So what is peace? Let's take a moment and explore the nature of what peace is, at least divine peace. In unity, we have what's called 12 powers, and these correlate to 12 different areas of our body. Each is represented by a color and a disciple, and also has a power attached to it. Powers like faith, imagination, zeal, and love. Well, there's also, I believe, a 13th power, and that power is peace. Peace. Peace power. Peace is at your center. And as unity minister, noted unity minister, Reverend Dr. Gary Simmons, in his book, Eye of the Storm, says, a center is both a place and a potentiality where harmony and balance occur. There is a place within every relationship or experience where the forces of soul and personality interact to create spiritual growth and transformation. On the surface, this place may look and feel a little stormy, but we have the capacity to experience the storm from our center, the eye of the storm, where there is calm and there is peace. And there is an awareness here of God's presence. Charles Fillmore, our co-founder of Unity, expresses peace this way. He says, peace is harmony and tranquility derived from an awareness of the Christ consciousness. And the key word here is consciousness. And we're all at different levels of consciousness, but the Christ spirit, that indwelling God, that seed of God that is in each and every one of us, is always there present. So we always have that available to us. This is a piece from Gardner Hunting, a noted metaphysician back in the early 1900s who wrote a lot of articles for Unity magazine. And he's got a book called Working with God. This is his take on peace, and it's very interesting. Peace is not mere passivity, resignation, or inactivity. It is utter well-being, conscious and unconscious. Peace is heaven. Must we wait till the world is at peace, till crime and war and sin vanish from the earth before you and I can have peace? Certainly not. Peace is an atmosphere of the heart. And I love that saying. Peace is an atmosphere of the heart. Just picture that for a moment. A whole atmosphere. Peace is an atmosphere of the heart, a state of the individual soul. It has nothing to do with an environment or circumstance. And there's a line here that says, 1,000 shall fall at thy side and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. The 91st Psalm tells what peace is. It is dwelling in the secret place of the Most High. Have we heard that saying, some of you longtime Unity Truth students? In the secret place of the Most High? I'll give you a hint. Her initials are EC. Again, that comes from Gardner Hunting, and you can get more information on him via truthunity.net, which is an incredible resource we have in Unity. So I'd like to explain a little bit how I think, in my understanding, that peace works. And I like to use this illustration of a peace sign. We've all flashed the peace sign at one time or another to each other, right? And in my version of this peace sign, there's two aspects to peace. There's the inner version and there's the outer version. Peace begins as one. Peace begins as one when we recognize that we are one with God at all times. We have complete harmony with God, and we experience that in each and every moment. Or if we're not consciously able to be aware of that, we have the potential, that field of potentiality again, to experience it in every single moment. Peace is an inside job. It starts as an inside job. So we create internal harmony. We strive to begin to create internal harmony. Remember I said earlier, Jesus stated in the tempest, peace, be still. We're going within. We're stilling those emotions. We're stilling those discordant vibrations and thoughts. And as we do that, and as we practice that, the natural result is an inner peace, which can't help but spill out into the outer. And that's where we're able to go out into the world and tell those people that might be sandpaper to our soul and say, peace be with you. One of my favorite stories in the Gospels, and I've already shared a few quotes on this, is the story of Jesus and the storm. And to begin with, Jesus was out. He was out on a boat, and he was speaking to however many thousands of people. He was a draw. He was popular. And he was out on this boat, and he just got done with all of the parables, and he was with the disciples, and he was dropping some serious knowledge on these folks. I mean, divine knowledge from the source at the time. And Jesus had indicated, he said, hey, let's go across the sea and go get some new fertile ground here to work on. So when he finished, the disciples got into the boat where he was standing. They took him just as is, and Jesus was just in this incredible state. And at some point, they got underway, and Jesus was napping. He just fell down. And as a minister, I can understand that, because sometimes on Sundays, everything's going crazy. You do your talk and you put out so much energy and spirits just boring through you, and you're exhausted by the end of the day. And I can't imagine how exhausted Jesus must have been on this trip. Well, anyway, the boat gets underway, and the disciples are going about their individual duties, getting this boat, keeping it on course, manning the sails and pulling ropes and all that stuff. And at some point during their little cruise, a huge storm hits. Just out of nowhere, comes up, and the wind starts howling and waves start whipping the boat, and the boat's going up and down and crashing the waves. And the disciples are running all over the place, and they're losing their mind. And yet they had just had all this divine knowledge from the source, Jesus Christ, dropped on them. And yet they're forgetting everything they learned. They're panicking, they're fearful. They're going, oh my God, the storm's raging. We're gonna die. Oh no, somebody go get Jesus. And I can understand how these guys felt too. Because there was a time in my life when I was in the ministerial training program where I came back from the village after my missions. I was on cloud 9. I spent time in silent unity. I prayed on the grounds. I went through some incredible interviews. And I get home, and my whole life went to chaos as my dad had to go into surgery and he needed care, and I had to drop everything to take care of him. And we were not prepared. So I know that feeling, and everything I learned, all this bliss and all this great, beautiful spiritual teaching and love I had just went out the window, and I had to deal with all this muck that came up. Well, now the disciples are in this state. So they're freaking out. They're running around going, somebody get Jesus. Oh my, we're gonna die. The boat's taking on water. And Jesus wakes up. He hears the commotion going on. I don't know if somebody woke him up or he just woke up himself, but you ever been woken up from a nap and you're groggy kind of, and you might be just a little bit grouchy? And nobody wants to picture Jesus as grouchy, but he was part man too. So he gets up, and I can kind of imagine Jesus, he's half groggy, half asleep, but Jesus is still in his center. he doesn't get tweaked or mad. He comes out and just kind of rubs his eyes. And I imagine he almost chuckles a little bit. And here's this tempest and it's rocking the boat every which way. And he looks around and surveys the scene and rubs his eyes kind of. And he said something like, "Oh, ye of little faith, really? Here we go again." And he walks out and he surveys the scene of the white caps, and the wind is probably tossing in his hair and blowing, and people are trying to hold on for dear life. And he stands up, and it says in the gospel, he rebukes the wind. And I love that word rebukes. And the wind ceased. But the word rebuke, that actually has another connotation to it that we're used to hearing in unity. And it's called a denial. And he's not rebuking the condition or the denial. He's rebuking the power that it has over, seems to have over him, has over the disciples and all their fears, and has over the boat. He rebukes the wind. And then the wind stops and the sea is still churning and swirling. And he looks over at the sea and he says, "Peace, be still." And the sea turns to glass. And the disciples looked at him and they stopped what they were doing. Their panic, all the discordant emotions ran out of their body. And they looked at him in awe and wonder, and dare I say, fear. They didn't quite yet understand the power that was at play here. So I just find that story so powerful, because this story to me is not so much a historical event as it's a description of what goes on in our consciousness and our bodies when we're dealing with these various situations. And we want peace, but we're so caught up in our stuff and our life and our drama, right? And we're running around with our heads kind of going, "Oh my God, I can't pay my mortgage and my mom's sick and I don't know what I'm gonna do." And there's that Christ in us, that presence of God that we have, that peace is accessible, that attribute of God, saying, "Ye of little faith, I'm here. Peace, be still. Peace be with you." Well, later in the Gospels, well, actually in the Beatitudes, Jesus states, "Blessed are the peacemakers." And this is an idea I love about peace, that we can actually make peace, right? Peacemakers make peace. Say that once, that just sounds cool. Peacemakers make peace. We can make peace. We can manufacture it. We can produce it. It's not in a limited supply. It's not like, "Oh my God, I've only got one jar left of peace. I better hold on that." Or I can't use what little peace of mind I already have. It's just this, I love playing on words. So there's this huge wordplay thing if you haven't noticed. But again, it's recognizing that we can make peace. We can be peacemakers. So would you like the recipe for making peace? Right? It's not like the Colonel's recipe. It's not like the recipe for Coca-Cola. It's not really keep under lock and key in a box somewhere. No, this is a recipe for making peace. So the first part of this recipe is recognize that you are a child of God. Peace is in your inherent nature and is available wherever you are, right? Our second unity principle says that we are divine. We have the divinity, that seed of Christ, God in us, wherever we are. We can access it. We can tap into infinite power and resources that are available to us if we simply recognize that fact, that we are a child of God. And not only peace is in our inherent nature, but abundance, prosperity, health, all those things are ours if we just simply claim it and acknowledge it. So the next way we access this peace is through our breathing. And what I dare say, well, actually it is the second way. The first is to recognize, but the second way is to breathe. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Did you ever have a time as a child where you were upset about something, right? Maybe a neighborhood kid hit you, or you lost your ball, and you go running to your mom, and you're so upset you can't even breathe, right? You're just like, is that love? Is that, and your mom's like, okay, take a breath. And sometimes some mothers might even given you like a little paper bag. You blow into the paper bag, right? And inhale and just take a minute and breathe. And then once you calm down and got the tears kind of straightened up, they would ask you, what happened? And again, we breathe in meditation. We can take whatever situation we're in, wherever we're at. Look, not all of us are in a nice, comfortable room and a nice, quiet space, breathing and having nice, music or chanting or something like that. Sometimes we're out on a job site with heavy equipment going on and people screaming, and we just need to create some peace, not only for ourselves, but also influence the situation. We might live in a city where there's gunshots and police sirens, and we hear those things going on, and we start to feel that tinge of fear. But through our breathing, right? Just like we did in the meditation earlier, peace, be still. Peace, be with you. Peace isn't just an in and out thing. It's a circular motion, just like our breathing. Just like our breathing, it goes around in a circle. Just like Jesus said, he was talking about that when he said, peace I leave unto you, peace I give to you. It's an in and an out. It's a flow of peace. It's not a static place to be. It's a practice and a flow. So we access that through our breathing, and we anchor that through our breathing. The next way we can get divine peace and experience divine peace is that term I used before, rebuke. Claim your power now. You have a right. You have a divine right to peace, to be peaceful, to experience peace in all of your life's experiences. So we deny the power of any external conditions, of whether those conditions come from persons, those ones that are sandpaper to the soul, or if they come from outer experiences. When we rebuke, we affirm our dominion over these, over the effect they have on us through Christ. And then we turn around and bless them. We bless them knowing that each one is there to teach us something, and we rise above it. We say, peace, be still. Peace be with you. Peace be still. And peace be with you. And if you still experience those tinges of anger, those tinges of fear, those tinges of frustration, those are natural things we experience as humans. You just repeat. Know you're moving into that center space, like Barry Simmons talked about, the eye of the storm. You could have the storm and everything swirling on beside you, but you anchor into that core center. Peace, be still. Peace, be with you. And eventually, that storm, which was the Category 5 hurricane battering the coast of your life, gets graded down to a level 3 or a level 2. And next thing you know, it's a tropical storm. And next thing you know, it's just a little bit of rain. And eventually, the clouds dissipate. And you begin to take stock of what you had and rebuild. So you know you're going to move in this center. You know when you're moving into your center, when your breathing relaxes. You're not going, you're just a nice, relaxed, full breathing. Your posture is relaxed. You're just in this really relaxed state. Your muscles are not tense. You don't feel tight in your neck or your back. Your anxiety level is low. Your pulse becomes relaxed. Your heart isn't racing. And most importantly, your mind is clear and it's focused. Your thoughts aren't going around, scattering around like the 12 friends of Jesus on the boat, right? That are just losing their heads and just making things much worse. You're able to say, peace be with you. You can actually create an energy shift in your circumstances and persons when you practice this. I had this experience several years back in a previous career when I worked construction. And I was one of those guys on the job site, and everything was just going nuts. The People were screaming at each other. Trucks were backed up. They were running into each other. The trains were honking. People were yelling from rooftops and banging around. And I felt that discord. So at the time I was going to SCE classes at the village, and I'd come back. So I said, I'm going to disappear. I'm going to take a quick break. So I went to the little break shack, which we call the Blue Room, which is, for those of you that haven't worked construction, it's those nasty little smelly plastic things where you take care of business. And I just took a few deep breaths, painful as it was and smelly as it was, but just got myself into a state of centeredness. And I just held that. And then when I felt ready, I walked out into the job site. And it was the last part of the day. And I just felt like when I got around people, the energy shifted. And that's what we're talking about, is this shift you can create. When you take the time to go into your center and get centered and release and experience that peace, you have that wellspring to share with other people. And it naturally occurs. You don't even have to try and do it, but it's there. I dare you to try it this week when you're out with your families or friends, or you're out in a situation at the supermarket, right? Something happens. Oh, they're not wearing their mask, or some other thing comes up, that you can take this point and just take a breath in. Take a breath in. Peace. Be still and let it go. Peace be with you. So there's a story I'd like to share from this book called The Gentle Art of Blessing. It's by Pierre Praverman. It's a great book. And in this passage, Pierre is sharing an experience, an extreme experience he had that somebody had shared with him. And it involved a time in Rwanda, this family that was when the Rwanda murders were going on, and they were killing people. They were ethnic cleansing in there. And this is a family that was on the receiving side of that. And the account was from a man who was like a spiritual leader, like a shaman, I imagine, in one of the tribes. And it was told to one of his closest friends by the person involved. He was a spiritual leader. So what happened was an African spiritual healer who managed to neutralize a band of murderers through the might of spirit. He did this through the understanding of the essential spiritual nature of our true being and an unshakable conviction of the superiority of spiritual law over all material obstacles. The would-be murderers had broken into his house in the middle of the night, intending to massacre his whole family. One night, around 2 in the morning, in the middle of civil war, an armed band entered his home. He woke to saw what was happening, and he met nose to nose in the corridor. They were armed with guns and bayonets. He's actually saying this in the first person. I was armed with truth and love. As they pointed their weapons to menace me, a thought came to me in a flash, immediately dispelling the fear which was attempting to invade my thought. Love and life are indestructible and permanent. I am the idea of life, God, indestructible in life, permanent in my being. There is only one life, God, which remains undivided, not 2 or more lives. This infinite life is the life of the so-called killers, my life and that of my family. For long moments, this man continued to make spiritual affirmations based on his unwavering conviction that spiritual laws exist that enable us to meet all situations, whatever they are, and heal us through the power of truth. Quite a few times, disaster seemed imminent. When at one moment, one of his daughters started crying, the head of the band gave the order to kill her. Without even pronouncing the word out loud, the healer immediately affirmed that the man who had received the order to kill was the perfect child of divine love. The law of love, which is present here, controls the situation and governs each and every one. Immediately, the man who had already raised his bayonet to pierce the girl interrupted his gesture. Each moment of this trial was precious for me. I did not allow myself the slightest mental distraction to see the problem from a material angle. And this is the words again of the man who was involved. I constantly maintained my thought on the level of true spiritual reality. After working spiritually for about 30 minutes, these men became very calm, as if feeling the love we reflected. Their chief called them and they left our room. this gave me the time to affirm still more forcefully absolute truths about the perfect man in God's creation. Once back in the room, these men were transformed. They had become new persons. Even their language had completely changed. They were disarmed and friendly and started confessing the crimes they'd committed. They stayed at our home for about 2 hours. No one was hurt, and everybody was safe and sound. Now, that is a very, very extreme case, but it does highlight that in these extreme situations, this works. And if they work in these extreme situations, why wouldn't they work in our small little lifetime dramas? Again, Jesus said, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called the children of God." So today, I encourage you not to try and master these practices all at once, but rather just simply experience and express peace, one piece at a time. Remember, peace is cultivated from the inside out. So just be simply willing to say, you know what? This moment, I'm going to give peace a chance. Claim your peace power in each and every moment, piece by piece. Peace be with you all. Namaste.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful. Okay. It reminds me of something I say when I get upset, and I'm kind of hyper sometimes. I say, peace, poise, and power within. And, just to calm down. Okay. It's time for our offering. Will the ushers please come forward?
It does this. It's fine. Hold on. There it goes.
Okay. There we go. Okay, let's say this together. Whatever I give, I do so from my heart. Okay. There we go. This is when we come back. Through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. We've already said that the offering blessing, so we will form a circle next.
Yeah, the whole piece. It's all good.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, and peace that will stand to
us. The love of God holds us. The power of God protects us.
The presence of God
watches over us.
Wherever we are, God is, all is well.
Wow.
Now let's children say, Amen.
Amen.